Hello and welcome to another edition of Pulp Picks. My name is Patrick.
I'm Fritz.
And we're here to give you this week's reading recommendations on New Comic Book Day, and it's a pretty full wall today.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of number ones. So let's dive right in. We both really liked your pick. It was...
Yeah, so my pick this week is Mouse Guard Dawn of the Black Axe, issue 1. So, I don't know, it's been a hot minute since there's been a Mouse Guard book out there, but long story short, David Pearson, this writer and artist from Michigan, if I remember correctly, started doing this comic Mouse Guard back in like the mid-2000s, and if you've never read it, just like some of those like beautiful art you've ever seen in a book ever, just like absolutely like gorgeous. But because of that, it takes him a bit to like get like issues out for stuff, and then like other personal reasons, there's just been like a big gap between books coming out. And part of the solution for this new series was bringing on Gabriel Rodriguez from Lock and Key fame
that's where,
to help with the art. And boy, I like, because I dipped my toes a little into Lock and Key, but like, so like I'm familiar with their stuff, but their work here is just absolutely gorgeous. Again, like because he does the inking and the penciling for it, and then Peterson does the coloring, and the way their two styles mesh is just some of the best stuff you're going to see on the shelf today.
Yeah, the art is flawless. Like, it is gorgeous.
But even beyond that, so like the point of this book is there's been like a recurring weapon, if you can tell, the Black Axe, and like those who wield it through a lot of the Mouse Guard books. There's been actually the previous one before this was about one of the most recent bearers of Black Axe, and this book is going to delve even further back into like when it was first made, like who the first wielder was, and it's the whole Mouse Guard world, like the different like how the Mouse Guard work, the different little like mice cities, just like the designs of everything is so well thought out. Like you got little things of just like people, like they've got like domesticated bees that they have for honey. They've got like their own, like the different environments dictate the styles of like buildings and stuff. Like there's all these cool little details, and the character work is just fascinating. The main character of this project, the first Black Axe, or is it Broderick or Bardrick? I think it's Bardrick.
Bardrick,
yeah. Like the different interplay with him and some of the other guards at Lockhaven, they think he's just like kind of losing his mind. Like there's this like sense of like, oh, maybe like some of what like makes the Mouse Guard like these like protectors of the innocent and like keepers of the peace like has been lost, that like he's trying to bring back. There's these almost more mystical elements that like haven't necessarily crept their way into the series before, but are present here.
Yes.
They're very interesting. Everything about this book is just top to bottom. There's script notes in the back. There's like some art process stuff that like Peterson will like design these things for reference for Rodriguez that you get to see that are super cool.
Maps.
Like there's like even like you get to see like on the back cover here part of the map. It's so cool. And you don't even need to have read the other Mouse Guard books, which, by the way, we should look about getting some of those in stock if we can, because they are, again, absolutely fantastic. Like, this was a book I think announced at New York Comic Con last year.
Sounds right.
And instantly was just like, oh, easy contender for like the book I'm looking forward to most in 2025.
I remember you talking about
yes, and it does not disappoint. Like, absolutely, just like all around 10 out of 10 book here. Couldn't have asked for more.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed how the particular mouse city that we're seeing this point, this story kind of starting from, their boundaries are shrinking. So they've got enemies at the gate, so to speak, and the Mouse Guard and their leadership are talking about how we can't afford to lose any Mouse Guards. So no, you cannot go do this thing. But at the same time, it's just, they're losing this war of attrition. They just keep losing ground and losing ground and losing ground. And what's being proposed here by the person who takes on the Black Axe and dons the name the Black Axe, and not in this particular book, but they do allude to it in the foreword, I think. Is going to go out and try to create a safer world at large for all mice. And it's just a really cool, and then there's a spirit guide, and there's the story behind the axe. The story behind the axe was great.
Oh,
I've read stories with kind of a similar kind of concept.
But the way it's presented is
so good.
Also, giant snakes. Technically normal sized snakes, but to them, giant snakes.
Yep.
So depending on how you feel about snakes, maybe don't check it out because
if you're scary. If you're a big snake lover, I guess, because as the cover implies, he fights with the snakes.
Yeah, and I also just like the names for everything because I just want to double check what the name of this specific snake is again because the names are so cool. Gameltan.
Yeah, that's how I.
Yeah, there's just like the names of stuff in these books are just fun in their own. I don't know. I really can't say enough about how much I love this book. The only sad thing about it is that I have to wait till May for issue 2.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Well, luckily between now and then we're going to be super busy. So time
Oh yeah. No, and it's not like there aren't plenty of other good books coming out in the meantime. Speaking of which, another fantasy little world.
Yeah, so we picked number 1, and number 2 is back for my pick this week of Bug Wars by Jason Aaron. So it's kind of like, what were we?
It's like an 80s cartoon, but ramped up and hyper violent.
Definitely. I mean, I think the second or third word in here was swearing in this issue. So hyper violent, lots of swearing, lots of kind of swearing in funny kinds of ways, because Jason Aaron's trying to create this world where it's all bug centric. So a lot of the insults are bug related. So good stuff. But the gist of it is kind of like Spiderwick Chronicles. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Where there's this whole other world, and in this one, instead of having, because that one was you had a lens and you could see it, right?
Yeah, something.
But this one is the kid's dad was studying bugs at their house, and then he died covered in bugs or something. It seems a little. It feels like we're being a little misled on that.
There's definitely some information that's not been given yet.
Yeah, so he shrinks down in the backyard somehow and finds this whole bug world, right? So that was the end of the first issue. At the beginning of the second issue, he's being sold to go fight in these gladiator pits, and they're told that if they survive, they can win the honor of go fighting in this war to take back their world and their safety against the evil killer of all bugs, which is his brother with the lawnmower. So he's trying to piece this all together. It's not making sense, and sometimes in stories like this, they grasp the concept and accept it a little too easily. I think they're doing a pretty good job here of he is just totally disoriented.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's making sense. All the way to the end of the book, he's like, this is the weirdest dream that I have ever had. Did I eat something bad? What is going on? And I prefer that. There's no way that I shrink down to the size of a bug and go to the backyard and find all kinds of bug warriors and think that's actually happening to me.
Well, because it's always that weird juxtaposition. Just obviously we're used to that kind of media, but there's a whole different thing between reading something and experiencing something.
Yeah,
because it's we've all seen a war movie. You put anyone in a war zone, they're going to be freaking out.
Well,
because it's
especially if you just pluck them off the street and drop them in it.
Yeah. And so having this actual sense of just what is happening to me? This is nonsense. Is that's how you'd react to being thrust into the situation. It just you spent half the time thinking that you were in the worst nightmare of your life.
Yeah. The art is gorgeous. It's very much kind of imagey kind of style.
Yeah. But Azrael never disappoints. His old Marvel stuff was always good, and I'm so happy to see him doing some more indie stuff.
Yeah, and this the color palettes that they're choosing here are interesting. It kind of feels like you're living under blades of grass in a backyard. Everything's kind of, I don't know, dark and dingy, but in kind of an interesting kind of way. And then there's all these different bug peoples, right? There's the ones that live with ants, there's the ones that live with spiders, the ones that live with beetles, and they've all got their own different aesthetic and vibe and kind of cultural nuance, I guess, to them. And so it's a lot of fun. It does kind of remind me of some of the crazy fantasy stories that were on, like, the Saturday morning cartoons that failed after a season, or if it even made it that far, like Pirates of Dark Water. Or,
that's good. That's,
what was the one where they were all driving around in like plant cars and whatever? I can't remember.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the kid was looking for his dad. It was like a scientist.
They're always looking for their dad.
And yeah, for sure.
In here, they're still dad's dead, but they're looking for information about the dad.
That's true. Yeah. And same with Spiderwick Chronicles, now that we referenced that earlier.
I wonder, is it just coincidence, or do a lot of these people that make things just have like unresolved parental issues?
Yeah, or it could just be that Star Wars was just such a huge cultural touchstone that everything after that had to be about it.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah, because I think with Disney, it tends to be more like moms, like for a long time it was, I guess, you got
there's a bit of both,
whatever, but so a lot of dead, missing moms and unresolved stuff there. So anyway, whatever.
Hey, speaking of books with father issues and dead moms,
Absolute Flash. Good segue. Absolute Flash #1.
Yeah,
you knew it was coming. Not the dead mom thing.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you've been reading Flash for a while, it's not the weirdest thing at this point. They do like to kill their moms for some reason now. It's a weird habit.
Yeah.
But point being, Absolute Flash, unsurprisingly, like all the other Absolute books, great read. Fantastic start.
So my biggest fear going into this was that Flash art, for me, is real hit or miss, because the dynamic of moving that quickly can just be really hard to kind of capture in a still image on a small panel, right? This art is amazing.
Yeah.
And also color palette, so much red and gold used in this. It is such a cool concept.
Oh yeah. And the funny thing is, I like the artists on this, Nick Rubles, I'm not super familiar with their work, but they're killing it off the bat here.
It's
just
crazy.
The way they're able, they use, because it's not like a lot of the traditional lightning effects for the speed. It's these more almost like blocks that almost show reality distorting around him, which is super cool. Everything about the way everything is designed, just it's so cool. It immediately gives you this very specific sense of the world that this exists in.
Yeah, down to the details of strands of hair coming off of people's heads, and especially facial expressions. So there's this whole interaction between Wally and, I don't know, do we give away the characters?
There's at least one in particular we should probably not give away.
Okay, so between Wally and, so we can say that Wally is living on a military base, right? And he's bored out of his mind. There's nothing to do. We already said that his mom has passed away.
Yeah, he's kind of there because his dad is, and from what I remember, it's not like Rudy West has ever been depicted as a great father per se.
No, he was always kind of a scammer.
Yeah. And here it's very much a different it's. I love how the Absolute books can do these things where they keep the strained dynamic between them, but in a very different sense of he's a very dedicated military guy instead of just this kind of bum grifter. He's this is a man with purpose, but in a way that still alienates him from his own son.
Right. So somebody else on base kind of in a very small moment does something nice for Wally, and it creates all this tension between him and his dad, and they have a blow up. And then, things happen.
Yeah.
And you can imagine that Wally becomes Flash, because we knew Wally was going to become Flash in this book. They solicited it. But we don't know. There's still a lot of questions at the end of this book. what exactly was going on at the military base, how much time has elapsed since the beginning of the book where we run into Wally and the flashback that we are then taken into.
Well, the interesting thing there is, so like there are like actual in the corner you can see like it'll say like the kind of like date movements, but like the way that like the back and forth in the works, it kind of like starts to almost open up questions about like how like his speed powers work almost. Like it's kind of like muddying these lines between like what is the thought he's having in this moment versus this moment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep,
they're like, it's a very, and they do it in a way, because it'd be super easy to do it and have it be like super confusing and you don't know what's going on, but they do it in a way that like you are able to grasp exactly what's happening, but like it does like see this little doubt in your brain that makes you start to be like, okay, but like what's actually happening?
Right.
It's not like, it's more of a like you want to like learn more, not more. It's not a I don't get this kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
What's up with the monkey though?
So if I don't know, it might be a spoiler. If I remember correctly in the interview, they did say that that's supposed to be Grodd.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, duh, that makes sense, but it's
yeah
appears to be more monkey-like and much smaller.
Yeah.
But, okay, so we might be going somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why I didn't put that together, but like I guess like I mean, just expect Grodd to be a big ape, not a small monkey.
Yeah.
With a weird opening on his head. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It was disturbing.
Yeah. But on a really note, like they continue to much in the same way that some of the other Absolute books have with their villains, like we get to meet the rogues in here, and they're a very different version of them, while still like keeping like a lot of the core things that you like know and love about them, just in terms of like personality and like everything like that. I love how so like a couple of them in particular like have this like back and forth where it's just like they're very obviously like work friends, like they're they get along because they're at work. They probably don't really hang out outside of it.
Right. Yeah. And then we've got another one who is disconnected from them, who shows up later.
Yeah.
Who appears to just be really nasty.
Yeah. There's some implications with when they show up, and it's just like might already just be my favorite version of that character, because it seems like they're actually going to lean into like, oh yeah, there's a lot you can do with this that they just never really seem to in the main universe.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then kind of that was where I started going like, okay, so like what all is going on with time and all of that here. Yeah. It was kind of that portion of it. But yeah, it was really good. The you know, you're waiting for the ultimate line or the absolute line to have a letdown book, right? Because they can't all be good all the time. This book was definitely not that.
Yeah.
It was very, very good.
Like, it's very good about, like, getting you, like, introduced to basically all the, like, main characters and concepts you need to know, just enough to, like, get you hooked in. But then you're still like, okay, but I need to know what happens next now.
Right.
Like, there's always... like, because that's the thing, like, every book needs to, like, you need to feel like you've had a full meal, but you also need to be like, I'm hungry for more still.
Right, yes, precisely.
And, yeah, like, honestly, all these books up here do a really good job of that. Like,
I agree.
Yeah. You're going to walk away feeling satisfied, but, like, being like, when's the next issue, though?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'll be honest, Bug Wars, when I saw the solicits for it and whatever, I was, like, totally disinterested. I was like... another one of these kind of books. And then I just read it that week. I can't remember if it was just kind of a lighter week or I just forced myself to read it because I thought like, well, we've been picking a lot of the kind of absolute and ultimate titles and Transformers and G.I. Joe and whatever. But yeah, it surprised me, and I knew that I was going to like Mouse Guard.
Oh yeah.
An Absolute Flash I had high hopes for, so for it to exceed the expectations was really great. Well, what about what almost made it up to the table this week?
So,
what else did you?
Unsurprisingly, Absolute Batman, end of the first arc, just fantastic. I love how it's able to straddle this line between like you're terrified one moment for what's going to happen to people. The next moment, it's like some of the coolest things you've ever seen. Then it's like super funny, and then it's back to being terrible. It's like all these different like emotions it's able to juggle so well. And between Snyder's script and Jagoda's art, just like fantastic. Similar to Absolute Flash, there's a little like tease at the end of this issue for like what's coming next, and boy howdy, it's scary.
So not gonna lie, I wondered about if that was going to end up being a thing because of the thing that happened earlier in the book. But then to see it like that, it was like, oh.
Yeah,
My.
it comes back to like something that had been established back in earlier issue, and it's like, okay, we're like getting more of a sense of like how this like connects to the like wider scheme that we've been seeing, but it again does so in a way where it's just like, okay, but also what's all this other stuff going on here about? Because there's some I don't even know how to describe what is actually happening in some of those panels.
Yeah,
to be honest.
disturbing.
Outside of disturbing.
Yeah.
But no, so like that was fantastic. New Gods easily could have been up here. There's a particular, without too many spoilers, like the last line of the book is "clear the field," and it instantly has me being like, oh, why isn't issue 5 out already? Like,
sure.
It like everything between the new Genesis stuff and the stuff on Earth with Scott and Barda, it's all great. Man, sometimes you wish you were the Flash so you could just like time travel and forward to get to that next issue. I don't know, what are some of the books that you were
well, Batman and Robin continues to be exceptional. Mark Waid and Chris Samnee are just maybe one of the best combinations ever. They just Samnee just does such a great job of, I don't know, just interpreting what Mark Waid is trying to get across in the story. So it's so well polished. Quick side note, if you haven't watched the new Spider-Man animated, what is it, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
I think so, yeah.
Chris Samnee was one of the art directors on it. So it's got a very him vibe.
Yeah, it was like him and like Leonardo Romero, who like did that first arc of Birds of Prey a while back. Like,
so they have kind of a similar
this like very kind of like clean, like you feel like the older influences, but like it still feels modern.
Yeah, it's like a modern 50s take.
Yeah.
It's kind of where it's at. When Daredevil showed up in that one, I was like, oh man, Chris Samnee has got to, because it was absolutely his Daredevil. So that's when I IMDb'd it, and I was like, I'll be darned, he is on there. That was very good. G.I. Joe was really good. It really amped up this issue.
This is probably might be my favorite issue of the main book so far.
Yeah. Oh, easily.
Yeah,
easily.
Like there's so much happening, and it's all just like beautifully rendered.
And Cobra Commander is so cold-blooded in this book. Like I love the way that they're doing Destro and the Crimson Twins. The interaction between Destro and Baroness was really good this issue. It makes you wonder, like, what are they doing here? Are they going to go on a totally different... Anyway. But Cobra Commander is just... He's got plots within plots within plots, and he just doesn't care about anybody. Like, it's so good. And the Joes kind of finally started working as a really well-oiled machine when their backs were up against it. The art is great. Loved it. What else? Zatanna. I really enjoyed Zatanna.
Like, if you love Blue Devil, absolutely pick out this issue. Like,
I was trying to think, when was the last time I read a story that had Blue Devil prominently part of what was going on.
I honestly, the last thing I can think of is he showed up a fair bit in Tinian's Justice League Dark Run, but that's also like...
Oh, sure. And
like
he showed up for
ago.
he showed up for a heartbeat in, what was the event? The Magic event that just happened. He got like possessed or something, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if it was Lazarus Planet or Nightmares.
Oh, Nightmares. It was Nightmares.
I think he was in both, but and that's one of the things I love
DC
about...
DC was doing so many events at that time, I can't keep them all straight.
No, it's just like nonstop. But he's like one of those characters that like people love him. Like, he doesn't always get like his own book or show up and everything, but like he's just like such a like good distinct character to like have in like your event books, just kind of like show up like... I don't know. He's great. We love him.
Yeah, he's got a great aesthetic. So.
Yeah. But no, plenty of great books. If you've been waiting for the final issue of Deviant to come out, that's finally here.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a hot minute, but I don't know. I enjoy the way it ends. Like
so many great variants this week. It feels like we're finally back. Like this is the week that we're kind of. It's DC and Image heavy though.
Yeah, not a lot of Marvel this week.
Just a handful. I mean, Ultimate Black Panther, Ultimate X-Men, and Exceptional X-Men. Oh, and One World Under Doom continues this week.
Which, so I don't know. Maybe something's going to happen to Ben. Who can say?
Well, I mean, it doesn't look good according to the cover. I'll be honest. I didn't get to that one yet because there were like 8 or 10 books in front of me. I will read it.
Like we were trying to go over all the books this morning. It felt like every time we said one, it's just like, oh, and then I also read this one. Yeah, no, a lot this week.
Yes, good stuff. All right, so we've got a couple things coming up. So we're moving to our new location sometime in April. We're just finalizing, getting up to the closing date and everything. So things are progressing on schedule there.
We'll definitely update you as we have more to really update you
for sure. My guess is somewhere, 3-ish weeks into April.
Yeah, that sounds
when we'll
right.
be ready to move. But then shortly thereafter, we will have Free Comic Book Day, which I believe is May 3rd this year. It's the first Saturday in May. It's always our biggest event of the year. So as it sounds, if you're unfamiliar with Free Comic Book Day, publishers, distributors, and local comic shops all get together to give out free comic books. So there's a lot of stuff that are kind of like introductory books or preview books. There's some anthology books. There's stuff for young readers. There's a lot of stuff is kind of geared towards that kind of teen plus. And then there's also some mature stuff that's only for the adults. But there's a ton. We always order a whole bunch because we like to have some extras to be able to give to libraries and hand out to kids throughout the year and so on and so forth. But then there's also some Free Comic Book Day exclusives and so forth that we'll have. And so that's coming up in May. And then this Saturday, we have got local artist Scott Lumen is going to be in, and he's self-publishing a book right now. And we will have, Scott will have copies of kind of the teaser issue that he's got that kind of launches the whole thing. And he'll be here signing and talking about the creative process and kind of giving everybody the story on how this concept is come to the page for him. So it's going to be great. That'll be from 11 to 2. So get down here Saturday. Looks like the weather's going to be decent on Saturday, so there shouldn't be any excuse not to. Yeah. So all kinds of good stuff coming up. So don't miss out. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, share, comment, and stop on into your local comic shop. Hopefully it's Pulp, but if it's not, wherever you're at, stop into your local comic shop. And we will be back next week with more Pulp Picks. Until then, enjoy the reading. So much to say.
I know.
I feel like the Micro Machine Man.
Oh. So we're back on things that make us feel old then.
Or sound old. Yeah. I mean, getting out of bed makes me feel old.
No, like waking up this morning when I heard my alarm, it's just like,
please let there be snow on the ground.
I honestly, no, I wanted to come to work today. For reals though.